Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 2 and Football Manager 2019, episode 2 of season 5. We're playing against Basford United and Blyth Spartans today in the Vanarama National League North. Now, you were last here, of course, for the first episode of the season, and a surprise 1-0 win, I've got to say. I wasn't expecting us to win it, but we won it 1-0. Since then, things have been alright. They've not been awful. Things have been relatively good, I've got to say. So we'll take a quick look, first of all, into the fixtures since you were last here. I suppose that's the best thing to do. So you were last here then for the Solihull Moors game, the 1-0 win, fantastic stuff. We then followed it up with another 1-0 win away to Spennymoor. A man got sent off for them late on, but Max Brown had already done the business by scoring in the 41st minute. So I was like, in this game thinking, wow, like we're actually doing really well this season so far. We could be in for a good run. As you can see, the next 3 games haven't quite worked out in the same favour. We lost 1-0 to Chorley with Jordan Sartorius and Javan Splat both getting injured in that. I think Sartorius is back now, but Javan Splat has been out for, or will be out for about a month, 2 months in total, which is a bit annoying. This was a game that was frustrating. We should have won it. We had about 15, 20 shots in this game to Chorley's 4 or 5. They won it, of course. But luck doesn't always continue. And I suppose at this level as well, luck is going to be a big part of things. So unfortunate, I think, to lose that, but at the same time, it was a decent performance from us. What wasn't a decent performance, though, was away to Kidderminster Harriers, a 3-0 loss with Max Brown picking up a slight knock in that game as well, which wasn't great, but that was a real poor performance from us there. Was not pleased at all. But then the Southport game, Max Brown and Avis Ganiyu scoring both goals in that game to make sure we fetched a 2-2 draw after taking the lead twice, perhaps a little bit unlucky to end up drawing that game, but it was an away from home game. If you draw your away games and win your home games, that's kind of what you want from the season. So I'm quite happy with that. That was pretty good. So what that means for the league table then is that we sit pretty mid-table in 13th. Slightly in the bottom half, but you know what? 2 wins, 2 losses in the draw. I'm pretty happy with that to say we've just got promoted last season, and I don't think the squad that we have is that strong. Obviously, last season we saw that the season preview seems to think we are a mid-table side. I didn't think we should be. We don't really have any right to be, I don't think. But that is what the season preview says. So we're going to stick with it. We're going to try and aim for a mid-table finish this season. Maybe try and push towards the playoffs. Like we said, like there's 6 places in the playoffs, down to 7th. That 7th place could be a good thing to aim for. In the meantime, though, let's not get carried away with it. It's only the 2nd episode of the season, so there's a long way to go still. We have made 2 more signings as well since you were last here. They're not world-class signings. They're not going to be slotting into the first team. They're more depth that we needed. So we needed a new striker and we needed a new winger to just add some depth to the squad, really. And if we look at the transfer history, we can see that Tommy Richardson has come in on a free transfer for us. Only 2-star current ability, but all we need is a little bit of depth in that striker role in behind Max Brown and Javan Splat. Although he's only 2-star current ability, his goal scoring record in the past 4 seasons has been pretty decent, I've got to say. 15, 14, 15 and 9, 11 total that last season in all competitions. Like, he's done well. So I think he's a striker that we could possibly use in rotation. You know, he could be pretty decent for us in the backup position. The other player that we brought in is Cameron Stewart on a free transfer, a former Lincoln City player for about half a season, but Lincoln City nonetheless. Winger on both sides, so that's quite nice versatility there. 2.5-star current ability, but again, only backup to the players that we've already got there. Is a bit of a journeyman, played at a lot of different squads. I mean, started off at Manchester United. He's had such a downward career, Cameron Stewart. Like, I don't understand how it goes that downward, if I'm being honest with you. But started at Manchester United before going to Yeovil and playing for Hull for quite a bit in the Championships. He's got a lot of like good pedigree in him. And then just drops and drops and drops. Eventually played for Lincoln for a little bit in League 2. Then has been at Wrexham and more recently Eastleigh. And then has just dropped down even further. And is now playing for us. So a bit of a downwards career, but at least we can say we have a former Manchester United player in our ranks. And staying on the topic of transfers, Harry Higginson, our 22-year-old centre-back who is on a lot of money per week. He's on £300 per week here. Luckily, this loan deal to Stourbridge, they're paying his wages for us. That's why we're letting him go. But he's not going to play for us. I don't think he's going to be an important player for us this season. And I tried to sell him anyway because he's on a lot of money. And £300 a week for a player that's not going to play at all is a waste. So we're letting him go to Stourbridge on loan. They're paying his wages for us. So that's fantastic stuff. Goodbye, Harry. Have a lovely loan deal. So unless he plays like really well this season, that's probably the last you're ever going to see of him. If he plays really well this season, becomes a really integral part of their squad, comes back and is a much better player, maybe wants less money per week on a new contract when it ends at the end of the season, then maybe we'll get him back. But other than that, I think we can say goodbye to Harry Higginson now forever. Not that he ever really made much of an impact in the first place. I don't think he was ever really an important player in the first place. But, you know, it was there. Anyway, on to the first of today's 2 fixtures. Basford United await us. We're going to stick with what we used last episode. In fact, pretty much the same lineup. It's near enough the same, I think. We've got Calderwood in goal as per usual. We did try out Coulter in goal one game. That was the Kidderminster game, I think it might have been. Either way, he didn't do very well. So it was he got a 6.1 rating, whatever game it was. So it wasn't great. Calderwood starts in goal because he is actually, I think, a much better goalkeeper. Camwell, who is now the only actual player who can play at left back, we may have to address that in a little while, because if he gets injured, we're a little bit stuck at left back position. But Guru, Sanderson and Anakin start as the rest of that back line alongside Camwell. McCabe comes in, or McCabe, or I'm not quite sure exactly how you say it, but I'm going to go with McCabe for now, alongside with Masters and Howell in that midfield, with Ganayu, Bird and Brown making that attacking trio as well. So, I mean, Brown has just come back from his injury. He's only fit enough to play for, it doesn't say a full match, but we're going to give him a go anyway, just because we've got Splat who's out injured, or Sartorius. Where is Splat? Splat's still out injured for another 2 weeks at least. And Richardson he's just not going to be good enough, really. He's the backup player. I mean, we said the goal scoring record is good, but I'd rather be playing Brown, even if he is a little bit injured. Anyway, kickoff is upon us today. And as you can see on my left-hand side, if you missed looking at the table earlier on, it's sort of gone now, so there's no point really telling about it. But front runners, Hereford and Boston at the moment. Solihull Moors currently third, so actually our opening day win against them could be pretty decent. We've got a throw in though early on in this half though, as Masters gets the ball out to Camwell from the throw, and he puts the cross in, cleared but only as far as McCabe, who's under some pressure now, might get tackled if he doesn't do anything with it right now. Plays it back to Guru, who can put it back into McCabe, and now Howell coming forward, our attacking playmaker, into Ganayu, back to Howell. Howell looking to create some space, gets it into Bird, who wins a penalty for us, which Leigh Masters is going to take. Is that the best choice? I mean, that's not the penalty taking screen. Now the thing's gone as well. So Leigh Masters is going to take it. I'm not sure if he's the best or not. I do feel like Howell or perhaps Max Brown are better, but it doesn't matter because he's put it in the back of the net to give us the lead 5 minutes into the game. Maybe he's just the master of everything, Leigh Masters, because he masters everything and he's called Leigh. Let's not talk about that again, Tom. I don't know why my voice sounds very strange today. Sounds like I've got a really sore throat. I don't. I'm not quite sure. I've not been doing much talking today at all. I've just been sat at work, pretty much in silence all day doing my work. So I'm not quite sure what this is about. Either way, it's been a very, very quiet half. So actually, that's kind of good if my voice is on its way out, because I've got to record 2 more episodes before I go on holiday. So I've got to do this tonight because I fly tomorrow. So I've got to do it kind of quickly. Luckily, I've got all evening and probably a little bit of time tomorrow after work as well, because I've got a half day tomorrow at work. So I've got a bit of time as well to do some stuff tomorrow. So that should be fine. And then I can edit some stuff on the plane and things like that, because it's a long flight. So I'm fine. It'll be good. Either way, 1-0 at half time is very, very decent, I've got to say. We usually go in, a lot of episodes. We seem to be a bit camera shy in recent seasons, but this season so far, every time we've been on episode, or it's only been 2 episodes and 2 games so far, but these 2 games that we've played, we have been the much better side and winning. So I'm pretty pleased with how we've been doing this season so far. And Bird's free kick hits the crossbar. Masters hits the crossbar. We've somehow hit. I mean, Master there, like, he's trying to outshadow everyone. He's shown he's the master of scoring penalties. In comes Bird thinking, I'm going to be the master of hitting the post or the woodwork. Masters comes in afterwards and goes, no, that's me. It's my name. He does it himself. So that's probably what that was. We are going to take Max Brown off, though. His fitness is looking down. He's on a 6.3. So welcome Tommy Richardson to the fray. I don't know if he's going to be that good for us this season. He's played 2 games off the bench so far and not really done much at all. So maybe that will give you an indication as to what he's actually like. We may also take one of these wingers off for Cameron Stewart, but maybe not quite yet. I don't think he's going to be much of a game changer, is old Robinson, as Masters has another free kick. He looks to try and score it, and it's just saved by the goalkeeper. We're really pounding on the door, I've got to say, in this second half. Like, we've had 7 shots this second half compared to Basford 0, which is really good, I've got to say. I'm pleased with that. We're going to take Jamie Bird off for Cameron Stewart. So welcome Cameron Stewart to the squad. This is going to be, I think he also came on as a sub actually in a game last game, but I don't think he's going to be replacing Jamie Bird anytime soon. Jamie Bird for me is always going to be that first starter, I think. And I'd also like to change something at the back just a little bit. I think Sanderson will come off for Joshua Gray, just because we need to have a little bit of pace at the back, a little bit of fitness, just to make sure we don't get one on the counter-attack late on. So as long as we can keep a fresh player at the back, we should be safe. So a really uneventful game. Not much going on at all, but we were effective from the spot and we scored. Leigh Masters with the penalty gives us the... Well, let's not talk too soon, Tom. Let's not talk too soon. There's still 3 minutes of added time. And here come Basford United. And... So today's game then, unlucky not to get the win, I've got to say. Not many highlights, but we're effective from the spot. Unfortunately, defensively at the end there, just letting it slip. But, we could all see that coming from miles away. But a 1-1 draw, nothing to be sniffed at, I suppose. We still say 13th in the table as things stand. And as the referee wants to blow his whistle soon, please. Unless we want to score a goal before he does, that'd be nice. Because then we could do that whole thing again. And that'd be funny, wouldn't it? No. There we go. The game finally does come to an end. Lincoln United 1, Basford United 1. 92nd minute equaliser for them. You have to just smile over it. You can't get too frustrated about it. Even though it does feel like the world is caving in on you. Right then, let's pick ourselves up off the ground after that. It's just disappointing to concede right at the end like that if you do so well for 92 minutes. But Blyth Spartans, who are sitting 4th in the table at the moment, am I being rung by... My girlfriend's ringing me. Let's answer this then. What a woman. She was asking me what snacks I want for the plane and things like that. That's you love to see that. Anyway, before we were interrupted, I was trying to say that Blyth Spartans sitting in 4th is going to be a tough game, but we are at home, and for the most part this season, apart from the minutes of the game, we have played well. So I think we'll keep a very similar lineup, if not the same lineup, and probably the same formation too. It's actually quite worrying as well, because a lot of clubs keep asking Chris Camwell to sign for them, and he said no to everyone so far, but actually, if he does say yes, we will be then left in a situation where we have no left back and we'll have to panic buy someone very quickly. I like playing with fire though. I like playing with fire, so we'll probably just leave it like that if I'm honest with you. Oh, and already, the Billericay manager has already crossed that we're not playing Chris Taylor. He's the guy on loan from Billericay that I said is not going to get any game time because he's atrocious. He is atrocious. Scout said he was better than he was. We got him on loan. Turned out he was rubbish. He's not going to play. We can't terminate his loan. So... there you go. That you can play him in the 19s for all I care. In fact, that's what he will do. That's actually what he will do. Development, move to under 18 squad. There we go. Right then, well, on the grounds that for 92 minutes last game we played very well. Splat is still injured, and the bench isn't as strong as the lineup we got to start off with. We're going to keep it the exact same thing for the Blyth game. So I hopefully will come back and we'll do some good stuff against Blyth. If we play like we did in the last game, just slightly better defensively for an extra 2 minutes, I think we could get a sneak a win here today. Right then, kickoff is upon us. Blyth Spartans in their traditional green kit. I'm not quite sure where Blyth actually is. Like, a lot of these teams I look down, I know exactly where they are. Like, St Neots should not be in the Vanarama National League North, because St Neots it's like near Cambridge, which actually I suppose is like, for a lot of people, if you're in England, anyone says north is whatever's north of Watford. But for me, like, I feel St Neots is in the south. But, people have different opinions, but mine is right, so we're going to stick with that. We've got a chance to come forward in the 3rd minute as the ball's put into Brown, who hits the crossbar. And actually, I think he was offside in the process. It did say a free kick down to Blyth in the end there, but that would have been a great start to the game. Southport's quite a tricky one. The name, you think it's in the south, but actually it's just north of Liverpool, I think. So... strange. It should be called Northport. I'm actually going to Google where Blyth is though, because I'm interested now that I've said it. Blyth. It's 137 miles away from me right now. They've just scored a goal, but it was offside, so that's fine. Blyth it's north of Newcastle. That is pretty north. Also a seaside town. I had no idea it was on the coast. It doesn't really have a coastal name, does it, Blyth? But there we go. We've learned something new today, and it's actually very close to Morpeth. Morpeth is actually very, very close to Blyth. They're like local rivals. Didn't realise that either, but Blyth are coming forward now, looking to score a goal, and Calderwood has kept them out again. He's been so good this season, actually, Calderwood. Very good last season as well, of course. He could be a cult hero at Lincoln United, I think, if he carries on like this. Anyway, in the meantime, while I've been looking at where places are, Blyth actually are dominating us in terms of the stats. Howell coming forward, though, if we can grab a goal at the end of this half, that'd be really good as McKay puts it into Howell. Howell in towards Bird, who can slide it across the front of the goal. Doesn't quite but clear, but only as far as Masters, who puts it out to Camwell. But back into Masters, into Howell. If we can get it in a bit more centrally now, perhaps that might work a little bit. McCabe into Howell. How into Masters into... We're just passing it around, honestly, lads. Someone do something with it that gets it in. Someone get the killer ball in. Like Anakin, killer ball now. He should have squared it completely, and yet he went for the shot. There was a man completely free on the penalty spot, and we didn't make use of it. And it's those kind of chances that we need to be taking, although we've got another chance before half-time now. Howell on the edge of the area, into Nathan Guru, into Bird. Bird to shoot, hits the post. And really, I think in this first half, we should have taken the lead. I mean, I won't get too cross at half-time with them, because Blyth probably have been a better side. They are the better team, I think, as well. They're sitting 5th in the table right now, all those early doors. But we currently stay mid-table, and mid-table is what I want this season at the moment. So I'm happy. If we can get a mid-table finish, right, we get mid-table finish, and then we can build on that next season, and maybe even go for like the championship next season. Because if we have another season of building in this division with good players, we really potentially could challenge the top of the table next season. Obviously, it depends who wants to join us. Depends on what kind of players we can bring in. This season, we are relatively reliant, I think, on some decent players in on loan. It's Guru being the main one, I've got to say. Although, actually, most of them are probably on the bench more than anything else, actually. So we'll have to sort of suss things out. Maybe try and terminate a few loans in January to try and get a few better players in, if players want to come to us, that is. I think in January time, form will be quite a big thing. And so I think when the clubs are looking to loan players out, they'll look at form maybe and where we actually are on the table at the moment, as opposed to the pre-season preview sort of thing, which they may look at before, or may look at other players that you have in the squad at that moment in time. So hopefully in January, perhaps we could try and strengthen the squad a little bit more to try and make a push for the playoffs if we're still within reach of it. You love to see, though, Sanderson and Guru, the centre-backs, on 7.2 ratings, both doing very, very well. Again, another relatively inefficient game from Max Brown. Hopefully, Jivan Splat will be back he should be back in the next 2 or 3 weeks, really, so that'd be really good to see if he comes back. Although, if Max Brown can redeem himself now that I've just slagged him off a little bit, that'd be really good. As Masters loses the ball, we've missed the header in defence. Number 9 for them's coming forward and scores, quite frankly, a really, really good goal to give Blyth the lead in this game. And that's all come from a small mistake in the attacking third. That's the difference, really, I've got to say, between a top team in this division and a team like us at the moment, which is a bit mediocre. We cannot be making those kind of mistakes that far up the pitch. Final 10 minutes then. We are going to bring Richardson on for Brown once again. And this is where we struggle because there's no one on the bench that can really turn things around for us. We're going to bring off Guyanu, or Ganiyu rather, for Stuart, who can play on the left-hand side of the pitch as well. So we'll make those 2 changes once again. Identical to last game, of course. We have a really good first 11. This first 11 should be able to get us mid-table, but it's then after that, the sort of bench players that we have, the rotated players, they're the ones that if we want to become a top club in this division, that's where we need to improve. Unfortunately, looks like we are going to lose 1-0 to Blyth, actually. A very, very close game, and to be fair, like when Blyth are meant to be one of the top teams in the division, and we're only just losing 1-0 to them due to a multitude of errors in the same moment of time. That's not a bad result, I've got to say. Like, we'll take that. We're building something here at Lincoln United, and it's going to take time, and mistakes are going to happen, and things are going to happen along the way which aren't going to be in our favour. But we're building something, and 5 seasons down the line, we'll be laughing at it. So that result puts us down to 17th in the table, actually. But considering we're only 7 games of the season and newly promoted, it doesn't particularly worry me, if I'm honest with you. So I'm sure by the time next episode comes around, we'll be back in the mid-table sort of thing, and that'll be really good to see. So due to a little bit of limited time I've got in between recording 2 more episodes and going on holiday, next episode will come around relatively quickly, the next 2 probably. So next episode is probably going to be then South Shield and Nuneaton. Nuneaton not really too far away from Lincoln, only hour and a half or so away from Lincoln Drive, so that should be quite an interesting game. They're also pretty far down the table, so that could be a very tasty game as well. Could be a lot of goals in that game, hopefully. So that is what we'll do next episode. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with notifications turned on so you never miss an episode. And I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.